Okay, y'all, as this year comes to a close, 2022, there's quite a few things that could happen that could really throw us off balance. Everyone's experience is going to be different, but truly what I've found are these six hard truths that could throw us off balance in December. So I just want to speak to each and give you some tools that can help you come back to equilibrium, come back to balancing. Drop into yourself. If there's a trigger, probably means there's something to lean into. That's where the work is, especially with root cause healing. So first, rich foods, shallow breathing, lack of fluid circulation. This can very easily and very quickly lead to toxin buildup. And when we have toxin buildup, we can have brain fog, exhaustion, bloating, fatigue, rashes in my case, and this inability to slow down and make choices that are rooted out of love, because that's what we're doing when it comes to root cause healing, is making choices that are rooted in love. The best next thing for you at each given moment will change season to season, moment to moment. So what can we do when we're full of rich foods all around us, a lot of excitement, breathing might be shallow, and we don't want a lack of circulation to cause toxin buildup? Have simple herbal teas. Simple, when I say simple, it's like 1 to 3 herbs. Ginger tea is really nice if you're trying to rev up hunger. Pinch a little bit of cinnamon, turmeric, or saffron. This is really nice for this time of year. Stay warm, please. Oh my goodness. I should be wearing a jacket, but it's warm in here. Stay warm. You don't want a chill to come through and create muscle tension. If you tend to get a lot of muscle tension or you run cold, cover up. And you also don't want these muscles to stay constricted for a long time. So warm oil massages, especially in the morning, which is super ideal. Get the circulation moving. This will wake you up. This will get the hunger revving. And strong hunger is really good, because this is telling us that digestion is working and it's strong. So warm oil massages in the morning, just like olive oil, is really nice, as long as it's warm and you're doing it safely. Let it soak in for like 20 minutes, 20 to 40 would be great. And then take a warm shower. Make sure to get it all off so that you don't have that oil around all day. Not ideal. So you also want to stay warm after you shower, after you bathe. Cover up right away. You don't want to get that chill. Eat on time. Okay? Eat on time to avoid getting hangry, especially for all y'all who want to get a bunch of things done, who want to check off a bunch of things on the checklist, and you might find yourself like sleeping late and trying to burn that midnight oil or whatever that saying is. But your body and your mind needs rest. We hibernate. Well, animals hibernate during the season for a reason. Maybe this is a practice to surrender to allowing yourself to rest. Okay? Number 2. Epic love, an abundance of epic love. And okay, you're probably like, what? Why is this a challenge? Well, for a couple of reasons. I know I've prioritized spending time with people who I haven't spent time with this whole year. Okay, this is the time to do it. And then very quickly, the calendar will build, and there's 1,000 things to do in one weekend, literally the same weekend always. And it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And it can cause stress and FOMO, right? This fear of missing out. So what we can do in those instances is like ask yourself, what does a happy, healthy you look like in the next month, in the next year? And then what choice would that person make, right? I literally wrote this down. I wrote down, okay, what is a high priority for me? There's like 5 things to do, plans and events. And very quickly, there was a top 3 that aligned with my values, that aligned with my heart. And let that be an opportunity for you to say yes to that thing, that root caused health that you want to embody. Another thing that can happen with a lot of love is, some people don't talk about this, but like this feeling of overwhelm, right? Which can happen with stress too, but we can also be so overwhelmed with love and just want to cry and just like, oh my God, I feel so good. And let it sink in. This is how we rewire the brain, right? When we create opportunities for neuroplasticity, so for the mind to expand, to create new neural pathways of focus, of our truth, we need to let it sink in. So like moments of, wow, that was really nice to be invited and to go to this event. Yes, it was fun to do so, and give yourself time and space to let it sink in. Like feel it, like, what is it like to meet with these people, eat delicious food, delicious, nourishing food, whole food, and what a gift that I have the opportunity to do that. Like, let it sink in, tingles. This is really powerful for creating a capacity to hold more love, to hold more epic abundance. Lastly, if you're like me and you tend to want to stay away from too much alcohol because it doesn't settle with where you're at in your process or what's going to light you up in that moment, you can suggest, like, game nights are great, right? Live music, playing music, watching the game. I know that's a big thing, right? Crafts, gift exchanges, taste testing. Like, this is a fun one. You can trying different flavors, taste testing things, guessing what's inside of this dish, blindfolded. This is fun. A dear friend of mine, they do appetizer competition. So everyone brings an appetizer and you can vote, and it's like a fun thing. So get creative, and have these moments that you'll hold dear for a really long time. And remember them all, because you're not wasted. All right, hard truth number 3, social triggers, which definitely ties into the last one. These social triggers that will challenge us to take note of all the work that we've been doing this whole year. Right? All the work that you've been doing to say, what do I need? What is something that's nourishing for my best self? Because I know my best, when I show up as my best self, my happiest, my healthiest self, then I can show up in other spaces as someone that can give from the overflow, right? So these social triggers, which might take us back to, I'm people pleasing, or I don't want to speak my truth, or whatever that might be, or I just want to give in and say, yeah, of course I can eat that, that's fine, even though it's something that doesn't agree with you, or something that wouldn't have a good reaction with maybe like an herb that you're taking, right? So these give us the opportunity to exercise everything you've been working on, all the spiritual texts and books and YouTube videos only become more metabolic waste if it's not actually put into action and allowed to flow through us, right? So what do we do with these social triggers? Remember that you are not a robot, okay? You're not a robot. So when it comes to, okay, there are so many parties, what is your capacity, right? We kind of talked about this in the last one. What is your capacity, your unique capacity? And honor that, right? And when I say honor that, that means also celebrating, saying, I'm going to say no because I'm actually saying yes to what, again, my values, my highest self, because to the thing that I really believe in, right? So notice your capacity and honor it, because you are not a robot. You're a beautiful human, and that is incredible, right? And then there comes this gathering or a person that invites you that creates a little bit of tension. This is the opportunity to ask yourself, is it this physical space that's making me feel uneasy? Is it this person that's making me feel uneasy? Get curious. Why? This is where the journal comes in. This is where voice notes comes in. This is where talking to yourself comes in, which I love doing. Ask yourself and get curious, right? What is it that feels nourishing to me? What is it that creates depletion in this environment? Has there been a time in the past where where you felt unseen or fearful or made fun of, or any of the sort, right? So I'll give them all a voice, because this is going to create more tension in the body. If they're not seen, this can create habits like overeating or undereating or anything less than love for the body, right? And that's what we're trying to do, is create calm and ease so that the body can let go of things that it doesn't need. And that might include an event that doesn't need a social gathering or something like this. Is there a conversation that needs to be had between you and a person? What would that look like? All of this getting curious. What would it look like to have that conversation? What do I need to feel secure and empowered in that conversation? Do I need to prep? Do I need to journal? Do I need to talk to someone and write it out? Do I need to scream it into a pillow first? All of this valid, beautiful, and do your thing, okay? Remember, each person in your life creates an opportunity for you to dig deeper, for you to understand what it is that you love, what it is that you value, what it is that makes you uncomfortable. So especially the ones that might create a little bit of a trigger. So let it empower you for you to understand yourself even more, which will dig deeper into your root cause healing. All right, you might hear some sounds because it's about to be dinner time, so there's cooking going on in the house. Holiday cooking, which is actually going to be just dal fried rice, I think. Very good. And cheers. This goes into the next hard truth, grazing. Grazing, as I have my herbs. It's a must for me to stop grazing throughout the day because there are so many events, right? Like you want to try all the different seasonal foods and snack and all the great, delicious things that come with events, and you're hopping from place to place, then you're constantly eating, you're constantly grazing, then that last meal never got a chance to digest. And if that happens, surefire way to have metabolic waste within the body. And that metabolic waste is what will lead to things like fatigue, rashes, brain fog, bloating, gaining weight, all of the things that we talk about. So what do we do about the grazing? What do we do about it? Try to schedule events during lunchtime. Because if you can do this during lunchtime, these are usually going to be like bigger meals or more complex meals, and this is when you want your digestion to be at the highest. Have a smaller breakfast. Say, you know what? I'm having a smaller breakfast because I get to satisfy my hunger in the morning, right? Like before 9, because it's going to preheat my oven. It's going to preheat my digestive system for what's to come, and I get to be actually hungry to have that meal, and so it can break down any complexities that might be there. If you did eat a lot, you feel like bloated, or you feel that like kapha, acid reflux, like this heaviness in the chest, the throat, sip on some ginger tea. Well, give yourself some moment, 15 minutes after you ate, and sip on ginger tea. This will start to rev up digestion again. And I actually mean it, like sip, not guzzle it down, which is something that I used to do, like just chug the water or whatever. We actually want to sip small pieces of, like, think about pieces, right? Like you're eating your drink and you want to drink your food. This is a big concept in Ayurveda. Like you want your food to be chewed so much that it's liquid and you're drinking it, and you want to sip slowly as if you're eating your drink. This will help rev up digestion again. Sip on freshly boiled hot water also is a good idea. And when you feel like you want a snack, and you're saying, oh, I need to do this, I need to reach for this, this is when you get to ask yourself, is this a craving? Is this hunger? What is trying to be fed right now? Name it. Literally talk to yourself. That's a great way to create space, create weight from the thoughts when it has verbs, words, or journals, right? So ask yourself, like, is this craving really fast and sharp and it's like, I need it now, kind of angry? That's usually a pathology, something that's not our highest self trying to grow and expand, whether that's like something going on digestive wise or just the habitual thoughts, right? So what are you watering? What is speaking? What is actually craving this thing? Or is it hunger that's like, after I eat this, I'm going to feel really good. I'm going to eat this and I'm going to feel strong and I'm empowered about my choice. That is likely biological hunger, and that is great. Satisfy that. So name it, and then whatever you choose, if you do choose to graze or you choose to go for more food or whatever, honor it. Say, like, this is the choice I'm making. This is the choice, and I feel empowered because I'm making this choice, and the choice isn't making me. Respect the choice. Respect yourself for creating space for you to make a choice. whatever that may be. But give yourself the space to actually get curious about it. Number 5, this one is so common, Guilt. That guilt due to not achieving your goals for 2022 will create more resistance in the future. I'm sorry. And it's okay to experience it. It's okay. I'm not saying this is like you're mad. The second you notice, oh, I'm feeling guilty, I want to get curious about this guilt, because the guilt is trying to show you and tell you and point to you what you really care about, what you really value, right? So when there's guilt, don't be afraid. Say, this is an opportunity again. What do I really care about? Am I judging myself? What is this judgment? What is it rooted in? Where does this come from? Who is speaking in the mind? Who is saying all these unkind things? All of these conversations in the mind can hold us back from stepping into our power. So what can we do about it? Remember, emotions are constantly shifting, changing. We cannot be super happy and joyful all the time. We won't be sad or angry all the time. We cycle through emotions because we're human. So if you can welcome in the fact that this is an emotion, I'm experiencing guilt, it will change, I'm just experiencing this right now. So allow it to just be an emotion, right? It's not who you are, and it's not who you will be forever. So that is first. And then this is an opportunity to see what you really value, what you really care about. Also, seasonal depression is a real thing. Get outside midday when the sun is up, if the sun is up around you. Stay bundled up, of course, especially if it's cold. But get outside, move, get the blood moving. I almost just slipped right there. Get the blood moving in some way. Shake your hips in the mornings, right? Especially if you can do some movement every day around the same time. It doesn't have to be wild at first, build up. But movement, get the blood moving. Wear bright colors. Really, this can help with the emotions that are really quite heavy. So we're not ignoring them, and we're not pushing them away or saying that they don't matter. We're acknowledging them for what they are, emotions, and we're getting curious. Let me get the dogs. Remember, emotions can't hurt you, but they can help you in digging deeper into who you are, into your root cause healing. And then number 6, the chance to change your story is not gonna be wrapped in a really pretty bow. All these opportunities that we just talked about to expand, to heal, to dig into our root cause of imbalances, they're usually gonna come with a shit ton of discomfort. And that, once that gets absorbed and understood and accepted, and we can just surrender to that, then things can start to flow. And I'm not saying that's all the time. We don't need to constantly get hit with, lights. We don't need to constantly get hit with trauma and intensity every single time. We don't need to go through eczema flare after eczema flare. But oftentimes that's when people start to make a change, is when you hit that brick wall and there's a need to make a change, right? So the wisdom is to discover what it's like before, what are the symptoms right before we hit that brick wall, before that flare up comes up, right? Before we burn out. What are the symptoms that we can take note of and then make different choices? And trust, okay, you know what? I know that this is leading down the wrong path, so I'm going to make a different choice. I don't need to sink into all of that pain, right? So the chance to pivot and change and expand won't always come in a pretty bow, and it often won't. Look at these opportunities to change your stories as gifts themselves. There's only a couple weeks or days left in the year, and you can literally from here and right now change the trajectory of your life. So take a moment, ask yourself, what's the best next thing for me at this time? Create space to slow down so I can understand what that need is. Honoring you, excited for you in your journey. If you found this helpful, then share it with someone that it also might help. This learning and expanding and healing is for us all. And if there's any questions that you want to ask, just let me know in the comments. Sending so much love, like feeling that abundance of love that like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed, I'm gonna cry. That kind of love is how much I love you. Woo! I hope you have the most beautiful, beautiful final few weeks of 2022. Soak it in, and I'll see you next year. Ciao for now.